If you guys are into the world of manifesting and personal development, you have probably heard of the idea of the flow state, which is a state where everything sort of magically just lines up for you. It's really, really cool. And today's video, I am going to share with you 3 tips for getting into the flow state. Hi guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I am a life coach and law of attraction teacher, and I upload 2 videos a week to my YouTube channel all about manifesting, personal development, and creating the best possible life for you. So if you want to get in on that action, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Today I am going to share with you 3 different tips for getting into the flow state. So before we get into that, I just want to talk about what the flow state is. And I know all of you watching have experienced the state of flow at least once in your life. So this is the kind of state where you just seem to be winning all the time. Maybe you are an athlete and you went to play a game and it was just one of those magical games where you knew where the ball was at all times. You made all your passes, you scored every time you had the ball, whatever. The kind of magic feeling like you just can't lose. So this feeling, of course, extends to more than just a game. If you've ever had a day where it just seems like everything is going your way, like you left your house late, but you made it to the bus on time, and then you found $5 on the floor at the Starbucks that you go to every morning, and everything just sort of seems to go your way throughout the whole entire day. That is what I'm talking about when I talk about a flow state. And obviously, a flow state is an amazing place to be. From a manifesting perspective, it is all about synchronicity. It is all about events just lining themselves up for you, and you are always in the right place at the right time, and you are always getting something awesome, something amazing is always coming to you, and it feels really, really good. It feels literally like you can't mess up, like you can't lose. So of course, when it comes to manifesting, a flow state is a really magical place to be because it shows that you are in complete alignment with the universe. The flow state just doesn't happen when you're in that state of wondering what if, thinking that you're not that powerful, thinking that you can't get anything right. You have to have your beliefs on point. You have to be in love with yourself and in love with the world, and that is when this flow state starts to happen. So we like to use the flow state because, of course, in manifesting, the more flow you have, the easier it is for you to flow on over to whatever it is you are trying to manifest. So the flow state is a part of manifesting. It is the part that kind of brings you to the goal. So whatever we can do to be in the flow state is going to help you to successfully manifest whatever it is you are after. And even if you're not into manifesting, being in a flow state is an amazing place to be. So today I'm going to share with you my 3 tips for getting into the flow state. Tip number 1, it's super easy, you guys. It is simply to find your happy. Our job here on earth is to be the best possible version of us, and part of that is by concentrating on the things that bring you joy. So, of course, we all have to put food on the table, we all have to do certain things in life, but you are also meant to have fun, you guys. You are meant to experience joy. And I strongly feel that the North American society in general still has this very puritanical way of looking at the world. And if you are having too much fun, it's like you should feel guilty, or you should have to make up for it in some way, or you need to make yourself work hard in order to experience the joy. You need to work on deserving it. And I think that is really a harmful belief. I think that keeps you away from being happy, and your main thing is to be happy. Everything you're trying to manifest is all about being happy. So the more happiness you can incorporate into your day, the better you will feel, and the more happy things will come to you. So the first tip, of course, is to find your happy. And that means regularly incorporating things into your day, into your routine that get you into your happy place. So we're all different. Maybe that for you is writing in your journal. Maybe that for you is taking a yoga class. Maybe that for you is really kicking back and watching the Kardashians. I have no idea what brings you real joy, but I want you to pay attention to it, and I want you to start to do it, and do it without feeling bad about it. Do it without feeling guilt about it. Just do it because you owe it to yourself to be happy. And let's face it, the happier you are, the more energy and attention and strength you can bring to the people around you in your life. So being happy isn't something that's selfish. It's actually a good thing for you to do for the world at large. Get into flow. Tip number 2 is to listen to your intuition. So intuition is something that is a superpower that you have, and I know some of you are going to say, no, that's weird, I am not intuitive at all, but I also strongly believe we all have intuition. It is just something you need to tap into, and it is a muscle that you can practice and strengthen, and it will grow and get better with time. Intuition can help lead you into flow because intuition is what kind of brings you to these synchronicities in life. So, for example, going back to the example I used about having a really good day, maybe you're late for work and you left and still somehow made your bus, and then you went to Starbucks and picked up the money. So these are little cues from your intuition that is helping you along your way. Maybe the voice in your head told you it's okay not to run for the bus is going to be there. Or maybe your intuition told you to look down, and then there was the money. So intuition is a big part of flow because when you are listening to your inner voice, it is helping you along your path. And of course, the further along your path you go, the more synchronicities happen, the more amazing coincidences happen, the more things just line themselves up for you. And that just helps you to feel good and helps you to stay in that flow state. So listening to your intuition, paying attention to the pings, listening to what the universe is putting out there for you is an important part of being in flow. So my get into flow tip number 3 for you guys is to stop doing the things that drag you down. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the first tip, which was to focus on what makes you happy. But so many of us just get into these habits of things we think we need to do that aren't actually contributing to our happiness and aren't actually things that are making our lives any better. So we all have bad habits that are taking our energy away from the things that we want in life and putting them onto things that we don't want in life. And for example, for me right now, Twitter is the thing. So I love social media. I've always loved social media, and it is one of my things to get up in the morning and to look at Facebook and to look at Twitter. And I know that that is kind of a bad habit, not because there's anything inherently wrong with social media, but inevitably I go on Twitter in the morning and I find some headline and makes me feel really angry, and then I get into this sort of negative state. So I have just become conscious about this in the last sort of month or so, and I'm really having to put a timer and a limit on my Twitter consumption. For me, the trigger is usually Twitter. For other people, it might be Facebook. For other people, it might be Instagram. But I know that this thing has a negative effect on me, and I know that if I read it too much and too often, I will not feel good. So this isn't to say that I'm going to run away from the news and ignore what's happening in the media forever. I never condone that. I think we are all here as a group to be responsible for the group, so we need to know what's going on. That's fine. But I also don't need to get unnecessarily angry and hyped up about these headlines and these articles, which admittedly, everything online, everything in the news, all of those headlines are all clickbait at the end of the day. Every news company is trying to get you to look at their news rather than someone else's news. So they write increasingly inflammatory headlines in order to do that. And it is super, super damaging for us who read them. So for me, I have to take a step back from Twitter. I have to just remember it doesn't take me to a good place. and I have to limit my news consumption and just remember that things are not as bad as the news is making them out to be, because the news at the end of the day is just somebody else trying to get your attention. And I have to be very cognizant of that. So that is my very personal example. Your example might be that maybe you like to watch the Kardashians, but maybe your Kardashian episode turns into 6 hours of TV a night. And not much really good happens when you are just sinking back onto the sofa and going into that mindless space. Those 6 hours are a lot of time, especially if you do that every night. And that is going to ultimately be time that is taking you away from something that you really want to do. So eliminating the things that are energy sucks, that are time sucks, that aren't getting you closer to who you want to be, it's important to get away from those, because when you're in those states, when I'm getting angry about something on Twitter, I'm not in flow. I am nowhere near flow. It's going to take me a long time just to get back to a normal state. So I want you guys to just be cognizant of where your time and energy and attention are going. And you have to think about this like you have a wallet full of energy every day. And you only get so much, and you need to spend it on the things that you think are important. So don't give a whole bunch of your energy and attention to the things that you know don't make you feel good, because everything, if you do it too much, will make you feel bad, which is the thing with watching the news, watching TV, etc. Those things aren't bad in themselves, but if you spend hours and hours and hours doing them, they're probably not going to make you feel good. So they are going to take you away from flow. They are going to take your attention away from the things that you should be focusing on. So it is super important to set boundaries for yourself. It is super important to put limits on your time and attention. And it is super important to be just conscious of where you are going each and every day. And if you aren't going to a good place, if you're constantly getting stuck up in the drama, in the story, you got to be your own babysitter, and you got to say no and then put yourself back onto something that is going to actually pay off better for you in the long run. So it is super easy to get into these patterns, I know, as I just shared, but it is also really important for us to be our own babysitter and to snap ourselves out of them as is necessary. So getting into flow isn't some crazy magical thing. You don't have to sit around and wait for it to happen. There are very actionable steps you can take today that will help to get you back into your flow state, that will get your manifesting mojo back, and will help get you on the success path. Whether you're manifesting or not, being in flow is just an amazing place to be. So I highly suggest you incorporate these 3 tips into your routine and just see how they go this week. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope this really helps you guys get into that magical state of flow. You don't have to sit around and wait. You can start making it happen. That's what all of my videos are all about. If you like this video, please give it a like. And I hope you use this video well. I hope it serves you well. I hope you learned something today. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll be back here soon in another video. So until then, just remember, get ready for the miracle. Namaste.